K-pop goes global. We continue the series. Hopefully you're enjoying.
I flew to Korea in 1997 to form the group. I was like, came with the thought of, yo, man, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it. And then the IMF hit.
What? The IMF?
정치권도 그렇고
IMF is the International Money Fund. Korea was really, really in debt.
Oh.
우리 경제가 더 어려워지고 있습니다. 대량 실업과 높은 물가.
It was pretty bad. A lot of people went bankrupt.
회사의 어떤 지원이 끊긴 상태에 의해서 저는 들어갔죠. 그래서
Aside from the economy being bad, it was a time where CDs weren't selling. I would call it like the dark ages. There was really no way to monetize on music.
Dang.
Not a lot of people were investing in K-pop groups or dramas or whatnot. They were really afraid because, yeah, of course, you don't know if they're gonna get a payback.
Hell yeah.
It was like, oh man, is this gonna be the end? Did I just really come here and do I really have to go back without accomplishing anything?
The IMF crushed the Korean economy. It crushed the confidence of Koreans. In many ways, I think it was a blessing in disguise. It really forced the music industry to refocus, rethink, and relaunch out of the Korean market. Where do we go from here?
That makes sense. So because they was going through financial crisis, they decided to go global because they need to get money from outside the US. That's smart. K-pop goes global. South Korea.
In the late 90s and early 2000s, K-pop was at a crossroads in terms of figuring out how, when, and where they could export worldwide.
SM Entertainment audition.
The biggest market that Korean music acts could aspire to was not the US, not the UK, it was Japan.
Okay.
Japan is the #2 market in the world, and it was also the closest market. But the idea of exporting, let alone finding success, was considered nearly impossible.
Why though?
그때 당시에 한국 대중문화 전반적인 컴플렉스였죠. 일본보다 우리가 열세하다는 그 컴플렉스.
Dang.
근데 이제 어쨌든 우리가 말하는 그 K-팝이라고 하는 개념, 그러니까 내수용 음악이 아니라 이 수출용 음악, 국제 사회에서도 이제 먹히는 세계 시장에서 먹히는 음악으로서의 K-팝의 탄생은 보아부터였죠.
Okay, BOA. Another new group.
선구자라는 말이 굉장히 옛날 사람을 칭하는 것 같기도 하고 해서 좀 내가 그렇게 나이가 많지는 않은데 이런 생각도 들긴 하는데. 네, 안녕하세요. 저는 가수 보아입니다.
I'm taking notes of these groups that I'm learning about.
사실 일본 진출에 대한 거는 회사에서는 굉장히 염두를 하고 트레이닝을 진행하셨던 것 같아요. 일본어를 좀 더 빨리 습득하기를 원하셔서 한 달 정도 일본을 넘어가서 혼자 생활했던 적은 있었어요.
Dang. So you was in Japan alone trying to learn Japanese? That's tough.
今日は9月寒くありません.
엄마랑 통화했는데요. 엄마가 되게 서운해요.
엄마가 서운해구나.
해야 하는 거니까 열심히 배우고.
BOA debut. Bro. This remind me of like the old school Disney music with like Lindsay Lohan and stuff like that. Nah, this is fire. Or like the Cheetah Girls kinda.
뉴스를 통해서 많은 사람들이 보아가 대단하다. 야, 어떻게 그 작은 체구에서 모든 사람 공감을 얻어내? 또는 이 어린 나이에 이뤘어? 그때부터 해외 시장에서도 우리도 할 수 있다라는 후배들에게 많은 귀감이 돼줬었어요.
이렇게 대단한 사람이어야 가수로 성공을 할 수 있겠구나.
Okay. And she could dance even though they calling her a singer.
이곳 15,000석표는 이미 지난달 초 모두 팔렸습니다. 그래도 보고 싶다는 일본 팬들의 요청이 휘발치자 주최 측은 공연을 아예 하루 연장했습니다.
Dang. That is crazy.
やっぱアジア人なのでなんか顔も似てるしあまり感じないですね。
That probably made a huge difference. Listen to my heart, BOA.
오리콘 차트의 1위가 굉장히 중요한 하나의 사건이었던 것 같아요.
Yeah.
저에게도 그렇고 한국 가요계에도 그렇고.
That's how you know it was back in the day. The little swoop.
저에게도
The little
그렇고,
swoop.
한국 가요계에도 그렇고 그 시대에 태어나서 그 시대에 처음 진출을 했던 것에 대해 굉장히 감사하게 생각하고 있어요.
I bet.
She obviously was a great singer, obviously was a great dancer, but she learned the language. She could speak and sing comfortably in Japanese. And so for a lot of Korean acts who were looking to find success in Japan, it pretty much was understood and known that you have to be fluent in Japanese.
Dang. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, she low-key did pave the way in terms of, like, from what I'm hearing. And like I said, or like I've been reading in the comments, they left out a little bit of stuff, but if this is accurate, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, she paved the way. She went over there and did what she had to do. She had to do the groundwork, what nobody else did, learn Japanese, and then not only learn it, but sing it, you know, speak it, you know what I'm saying? Make people in Japan feel like she was one of them. You know what I'm saying? That's fire.
완전히 차별화되는 하나의 수출용 음악으로서의 해외 진출이라는 개념을 정착시킨 건 역시 보아였다. 그러면서 이제 한류라고 하는 새로운 시장이 이제 만들어진 거죠.
한류?
What is Hallyu?
Hallyu is like basically Korean influence.
Okay.
You're not just selling the music, you're not just selling the image, you're actually selling the culture.
한류, K-웨이브 음악도 있을 거고요. 그리고 드라마도 있을 거고 영화도 있을 거고.
Hallyu is, basically awareness of K-pop outside of Korea.
Do y'all think we should get into some Japan pop or J-pop? I don't know. Or Thai pop? I think it would be interesting. Maybe on the second channel, maybe. I don't know.
유일하게 문화는
I think it'll be
모든
interesting.
장벽을 허물 수 있는 장르라고 생각을 했어요.
한류라는 거는 어떤 나라에 대한 자부심을 갖게 해주는 또 내가 하는 일에 대한 자부심을 갖게 해주는 단어였던 것 같아요.
Wonder Girls. See, I heard about the Wonder Girls and I said that I gotta check out the Wonder Girls. The Wonder Girls 21.
원더걸스 멤버는 잘 모르더라도 저희 노래를 모르는 분들이 없었어요.
Synth pop.
안녕하세요. 저는 싱어송라이터 펠츠입니다. 반갑습니다.
I love synth pop too.
사실 원더걸스의 음악 자체가 저희가 듣고 자라온 음악들은 아니었거든요. 70년대, 80년대 어떤 신스팝 베이스의 음악들이었고
Tell me. Tell me. Bro, this song is so hilarious because every time I hear it, and other people who grew up in this time era probably got a completely different relationship with this song, but every time I hear it, I think of JYP. I don't know. If you know, you know.
Queen of Retro.
Everyone loves nostalgia. Everyone loves the idea of modernizing the past, but it was more, they're so good. Like,
Hell
저희가
yeah.
진출을 했었던 이유, 의미는 이제 본고장에서 성공하고 싶었던 것 같아요. 아, 박진영 PD는
There go JYP. I was literally just talking about Buddy.
고장에서 성공하고 싶었던 것 같아요.
Let me write down the Wonder Girls.
PD는 선구자죠. 그리고 굉장히 꿈을 쫓는 사람, 드리머.
JYP was already a very well-known singer. He liked westernized music.
미국 시장에 알려야 이게 전 세계 시장에 자연스럽게 흘러 들어가게 되고 이렇게 미국 시장을 계속 두드리는 모습들을 보면서 그때는 믿질 않았어요. 왜 저런 짓을 하지? 저게 가능할 거라고 생각하나? 라고 저는 생각했어요, 솔직히. 그때 당시에는.
Okay. United States of America. 2009.
일단은 당시에 이제 노바디라는 음악 자체가 워낙 뭐 아시아권에서는 굉장히 히트를 치고 있었고 미국 시장에서도 뭔가 서양권에서도 먹힐 수 있겠다라는 생각을 하셨던 것 같아요.
Yeah, that's a hit. I ain't gonna lie.
JYP 같은 경우는 5, 60년대 모타운 소울을
Facts. That's what I'm seeing from this. This is what it remind me of. Motown Records, for real, for real. Like, and that nostalgia, it really hang on to people.
JYP 같은 경우는 5, 60년대 모타운 소울을 약간 벤치마킹한.
Wonder Girls really tapped into that, and JYP really tapped into that with the music. And it's so smart to tap into what people already recognize when you're introducing something new.
Yeah.
한국에서는 그렇게 투어 버스를 탈 일이 없기 때문에 그게 가장 신기한 거고 정말 미국에서만 할 수 있는 어떤 문화라고 생각을 했기 때문에 영어로 된 곡들 반, 그리고 또 한국어로 된 곡들 반. 그래서 이제 대부분의 관객들도 한국 교포분들, 한국 음악을 원래 사랑하는 분들이 반 정도, 그리고 또 한국 음악을 잘 모르지만 재밌겠다 싶어서 오는 외국인 팬분들도 있었던 것 같고.
That's fire. It's crazy because nowadays they do the same similar thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like you got to ease people into stuff like that. I gotta learn Korean so I could really become the YouTuber I want to be.
Tour with Jonas Brothers, playing for Jordan Sparks. She was opening act, and at the same time, Wonder Girls was opening. I knew Wonder Girls because they were #1 at the time in Korea for years, and I was also a fan of them. I was so happy that I have my people on this tour.
So they was touring with the Jonas Brothers?
조나스 투어를 다녔을 때.
Nah, that's fire.
그때는 진짜 사실 되게 두려웠죠.
Please welcome our new friend all the way from Korea, the Wonder Girls.
Bro, this is fire because I feel like the Jonas Brothers got the perfect audience that would actually like give, and really at that time the audience that was in tune with Disney, and like I feel like they have like they're the perfect audience for K-pop, for real, for real.
그리고 정말 저희를 원더걸스를 모르는 그것도 대화도 통하지 않는 그런 대중들, 관객들 앞에서 공연을 한다라는 것 자체가
Los Angeles?
되게 낯선 관객들이잖아요. 우리가 올라갔을 때 우리를 위해 소리를 질러주지 않을 관객들을 처음 만났을 때 그런 점들이 쉽지는 않았던 것 같아요.
I bet. Probably discouraging.
I remember it was dead quiet. They're
Dang.
not used to silence.
이제 그럼 국내 팬들의 반응이라고 할까요?
굉장히 부정적이었죠. 한국의 팬들은 약간 국내 시장이 아니라 해외 시장 진출하는 거에 대해서 필요하다고 이해는 하지만 동시에 국내 팬들을 굉장히 소홀히 대한다.
Korean people, we cannot live without music. And when they love something, they have a connection with it. They were definitely sad because they miss their favorite artists.
So 2009 is the year of girl groups in Korea. There are a lot of groups.
Yeah.
How does it feel to not be part of that? Do you guys want to join in the fun?
People in Korea consider that it was a failure because they didn't, gain traction long term. And at this point, it kind of just felt like Wonder Girls' singular focus on the US ended up hurting them in the long run. Really, they were the girls on top and they decided to try something new and they were so brave to do that, I think. And JYP was pretty entrepreneurial in trying to do that. At this point, people weren't really ready for it, but it did take off in the niche audience that kind of has grown K-pop in the US to what it is today.
Yeah, I will say that's a great lesson to learn. Sometimes you do have to take those risks even if they don't pan out. And I always say this, I've been echoing this for such a long time, because even if you do fail, you can see how far you are from your goal, or you can see what you need to improve or what you need to adjust. Don't ever be scared to try something that you feel in your heart is the right decision to make.
그냥 해야 됐던 것 같아요.
원더걸스가 한국에서 중요한 건 2007년부터 2009년까지 어떤 걸그룹 혹은 아이돌 음악이라는 걸 거의 재정의하는 역할을 했던 거거든요.
후크송이라는 단어도 텔미 정도가 잘 되면서 이제 그때 생긴 거잖아요. 같은 프레이즈를 계속 반복해서 훅을 건다 이렇게.
굉장히 반복되는 부분이 많았었어요, 예전에는. 그래서
You know what's crazy? At the time, they coined this as repetitive. Bro, this is literally like TikTok music. Back in the day, this would have been on TikTok and it would have went crazy and people would have been doing the dances to it.
부분이 많았었어요, 예전에는. 그래서
Things just recycle themselves.
포인트 댄스 하는데 무슨 포인트 댄스?
포인트 안무 그냥 말 그대로 포인트인 거예요. 그 안무 전체적인 그 3분 안에 포인트가 되는 부분, 눈에 확 들어오는 그 부분을 이제 강조하는 부분이 많았죠. 그 3분 안에 뭔가 기억에 꼭 남아야 된다고 생각을 해요. 음악이 끝나고 무대가 끝났을 때 대중들이 이 노래는 이 춤 이런 게 꼭 기억에 남아야 된다고 생각을 해서
Crab dance.
Really catchy, easy to learn dance move. And in the late 2000s, that was a really important thing because that actually became a selling point. So you were getting these viral dance trends.
I'm telling you.
With K-pop songs, it's a very visual experience because even though you might not understand the lyrics, what might get lost in translation is often interpreted and then some through the visual aspects, not just catchy lyrics, but flashy dance moves. And so when you see these fans all around the world copying, mimicking, and posting these viral videos, it has an amazing amplification and exponential effect in terms of spreading the popularity of K-pop.
Hell yeah. I feel like music over here in the West doesn't have that. And it's like they try to have that from time to time, but it don't seem real or genuine because the music has never been that, you know? I could see they've been doing that for a while.
(2009년이나 2010년) 음원 순위나라든지 방송을 보면 놀래요. 시상식 아니야? 약간 그럴 정도로 그 당시 생각해보면 정말 너무 쟁쟁했기에 전쟁터 같았지만 너무 풍성했기에 파티 같았던 그런 해인 것 같아서.
2NE1이 힙합, 소녀시대가 정말 전형적인 어떤 SM, K-pop,
Girls' Generation?
좀 더 댄스,
You gotta write them down.
를 기반으로 했던 음악이었다고 한다면
In many ways, the competition between girl bands is not just a good thing, it's a great thing. Because of the training and the competition to succeed in Korea, they're already tested so that when they go overseas, they are world-class acts on stages.
Yeah.
정말 그 아이돌의 황금기였던 것 같은데 네 그리운 한 해네요. 2009년.
There was a collision between the rise of K-pop and the internet becoming more accessible to people around the globe and technology becoming more accessible to people around the globe. So at this time, that was really when K-pop started gaining a global audience beyond Asia.
Facts. That's why I was saying like BTS used the internet in such a good way. Like seeing like you could see their personality alongside their music, and it was really genius the way that they popped off. They popped off, in my opinion, when the internet really started taking off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people used it all the time. That was the golden era.
불리고 있는
Super Junior.
합니다.
Let me make sure I got that on the list.
모니터를 하잖아요. 멤버들의 양극화가 가장 많았던 곡이었어요. 정말 절반은 좋다, 절반 안 좋다. 쏘리 쇼리 하다 보니까 이런 노래를 대중들이 이해하고 좋아해 줄 수 있을까? 닉베스란 안무가 있었거든요. 그 안무가가 와서 노래를 딱 들어보더니 이 노래 정말 좋다고. 이런 노래 스타일도 처음이었었고 그래서 안무 연습하는 너무 힘들어가지고
Five people dancing in sync is impressive, but once you up the game to double digits, it just looks so much more impactful.
슈퍼주니어의 소리가 한국에서는 약간 좀 희화화돼서 소비가 됐던 경향이 있어요. 가사가 웃기고 안무가 조금 유치하다. 근데 그게 동남아시아의 그런 인터넷 커뮤니티에 이런 영상 짤방으로 돌아다니는 걸 보면서 좀 되게 대단한데?
어떻게 보면 전 시장을 열게 될 수 있는 또 하나의 축이 됐던 건 사실이거든요.
우리가 아시아권에서만 활동을 해도 해외 진출을 했다라고 하지만 유럽까지 갈 거라고는 정말 상상도 못했거든요.
Dang. Nah, that's crazy.
유럽까지 확산되고 있습니다.
저희가 전혀 의도하지 않았고 예상치 않았던 그런 모습들을 보면서 그때 당시에는 이게 현실인가?
It's kind of been heralded as this big moment of K-pop fans letting companies know what they want. This was the first time Parisian fans really kind of took to the streets and ended up making something happen and ended up getting 2 nights of concerts in Paris.
Oh. That's fire that they jumped on that opportunity.
벗어나려면 무조건 영어를 하거나 혹은 그 지역의 어떤 특징들을 반영해야 된다라고 생각을 했던 것 같아요. 이게 그 JYP가 원더걸스를 데리고 미국 갔을 때 얘기였다면 SM이 파리에서 공연을 하고 파리 소비자들이 한국어로 된 음악을 소비했거든요. 이런 포인트들이 전략을 바꿔도 되겠다라는 어떤 인사이트를 줬던 것 같아요.
Facts.
Over time, a lot of K-pop music companies and K-pop music acts realize, you know what? What if we make K-pop international pop music? And so for a kid, whether they be in Vienna or Vietnam, to them, K-pop was just pop music from Korea.
Alkışlar Super Junior için.
I say Shuju, you say Oppa, Shuju.
Luces, están pasando bien.
이쪽도 만나봐야겠다 생각이 드시는 곳이 있나요?
아프리카를 아직 못 가봤어요.
Dang. They out there crying and having a good time. Los Angeles? Yeah, I know them palm trees.
When I was in the States, One day, while I'm driving on the freeway, hear Oppan Gangnam Style. What the heck?
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style. Bro, I remember this took over the internet so bad. It was crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Psy gotta get his flowers, bro, because this was like, you could not even escape this, bro. Everybody was doing the dance, didn't know what it was about.
라는 느낌이란 게 있었는데 되게 신기한 현상이다. 지금 이제 미국 사람들이 한국 음악을 듣네.
You know, at the time, EDM was really popping off in America, right? And then sonically, it was like up to par with anything that was on the radio.
Sexy lady.
I suddenly became the meme of the moment. And I remember getting really sick of it.
Psy was not a young idol. He was an older, more well-rounded artist.
아니, 저한테는 아이돌이에요.
He was already a pretty popular artist in Korea, but he wasn't somebody who anyone would have bet on would become, you know, a global star. He was someone who was creating music for Koreans, and Gangnam Style was a song that was, you know, satirizing Gangnam. Like, it was making fun of the Gangnam lifestyle. It was a social criticism. It's kind of comedic that the song ended up getting popularized and everyone totally missed the point of what it was.
It was that catchy, I'm telling you. Sexy lady.
The whole world kind of turned Psy into a joke, not realizing that Psy was probably laughing at them all at the same time.
Everybody has Gangnam Style in their deeper mind, you know? I believe so.
How do you go?
Bro, the fact that, like, to him, he was really making something for a specific reason and everybody else was just like, Gangnam Style. Ooh. Like, bro, he probably like, hey, fuck it, we ball.
Put your stuff on YouTube, then also it just like blows up that way. Over 1 billion views, come on.
He got to 1 billion, and then YouTube was like, oops, our system is going to break. Let's redo the counter system. YouTube broke. It's now a counter of popularity, and it's all thanks to kind of Psy showing that you can turn views into success.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Nah, he a legend for real. Can't deny that.
I think it's safe to say that K-pop has transitioned from being dismissed as a fad to being recognized as a phenomenon. The numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
$500 million a year just in pure exports.
Damn.
저희가 진출을 했었을 때는 굉장히 현지화를 시키려고 많이 노력을 했었다면 현재는 그냥 K-팝이 가진 것 그대로 가지고 가려고 하는 성향이 더 큰 것 같거든요. 우리는 한국에서 왔어요라는 어떤 느낌으로 다가가는 것 같아요.
이 음악 자체에는 한국인의 감성이 들어있다고 생각해요. 그렇기 때문에 이 한국인의 감성도 함께 느끼면서 대한민국을 사랑하시는 분들이 전 세계에 더 많이 늘어나지 않았나 생각이 듭니다.
우리가 꿈꿔왔던 현실이 정말 실현되고 있는 느낌이 아닐까.
Yeah. I hope that everybody who played a part in making this thing happen really do appreciate themselves and are proud of themselves, because I know it wasn't easy, because we didn't see their day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what we have to realize about our personal lives as well. Like, you don't know what is going to become of your life. You just have to attack every single day with a tenacity and a certainty that you're going to make an impact, whether that's in one person's life, 20 people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I want to approach my life. Not worry about the outcome, just attack it.
계신 K-pop 팬분들은 사랑이 넘치시고.
These fans are hardcore,
Hell yeah.
super passionate.
하루 중에 1터라도 방송한다면 안 보는 시간이 없거든요. 가수가 내 소유물이다라고 생각을 하는 분들이 있어요.
Facts.
다시 태어나도 이런 분들은 뭐.
That's one part of it that I don't like, but it's what make it more crazy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. All right, that was this episode of Learning K-Pop. this was a good one. I enjoyed this. Every single episode has been so insightful, so fun. And I just love to see the development and understand it. Like I say, after we get done with this series, I'm writing down these groups just so that we know who we got to check out. We got HOT, SES, Taji, One Time, BOA, Wonder Girls, Girls' Generation, Super Junior. I'm making sure I mark down all of these older big groups, and I know we also gotta check out Big Bang as well. But I'm enjoying this series. How are y'all feeling about this series? Are y'all enjoying this series? I feel like this is something that I needed to do, and I feel like if you're a K-pop fan, it's important to know the origins. I feel like anything that you get into, it's important to know the origins. That way, you know what you're getting into and why it is the way it is, and it's just really, really good to see that. But I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace and love, always.